Imagine you're standing in a bookstore. You pick up a new thriller, something everyone's been talking about. But instead of reading the first chapter, you do something that would make most people gasp in horror. You flip straight to the very last page. You read the final paragraph, you find out who lived, who died, and how it all ends. And only then, once you have that information, do you go back to page 1 and start the story. Most people would call this spoiling the fun. They'd say you're cheating, or that you're ruining the suspense. But you and I both know that isn't why you do it. You don't do it to ruin the story. You do it because, without knowing the ending, your brain feels like it's walking through a dark room with no flashlight. This habit isn't a social quirk. It is a biological indicator of predictive outcome intelligence. You possess a high-resolution mind that requires an established safety map before it can commit its emotional energy to anything. Today, we're going to decode why this weird habit actually makes you a sentinel in a world of drifters. Welcome to MindUnlockx. As we've discussed before, we don't do motivation, and we definitely don't do surface-level advice. We are a sanctuary for deep thinkers and the rare minds who want to understand the hidden architecture of their own behavior. To understand why your need for spoilers is actually a sign of elite emotional self-sufficiency, we have to move past the social noise and dive straight into our first point, the mechanics of the safety map. The first thing we need to decode is the psychological system error that happens in your brain when you don't know the ending. Most people thrive on the novelty trap. They love the adrenaline of not knowing what's coming next. But for someone with predictive outcome intelligence, suspense doesn't feel like fun. It feels like cognitive drag. Your brain is a high-performance machine that processes the world in incredible detail. When you read a story, you aren't just reading words. You are building a complex 3D emotional simulation. If you don't know the ending, your brain's sentinel functions stay on high alert. You're constantly scanning for threats, trying to predict the betrayal, and preparing for the emotional blow. By reading the last page first, you are practicing elite energy allocation. You are effectively downloading the map of the environment so your brain can turn off its defense systems. Once you know the ending, your high-resolution mind can finally relax and focus on the how and the why instead of just the what. We don't do motivation here because the why is your real power. You aren't lazy or impatient. You are superiorly neural efficient. You are clearing your cognitive cache so you can appreciate the intricate patterns of the journey without being blindsided by the destination. Point number 2 goes deeper into your history. Many people who possess predictive outcome intelligence also share the signs of traumatic intelligence. You are likely someone who was the black sheep of your family, or someone who had to raise yourself because the adults around you were unpredictable. In that environment, surprises were rarely good things. You learned very early on that being blindsided usually meant getting hurt. As an adult, this translates into a biological refusal to be caught off guard. Your last page habit is a form of defensive resilience. You are the sentinel who always sits with their back to the wall in a restaurant, and reading the ending of a book is the literary version of checking the exits. You need to know the outcome so you can decide if the emotional investment is safe. If a book is going to end in a way that triggers your past experiences, you'd rather know now than find out when your guard is down on page 300. You are practicing one of the 6 ways to protect your peace without cutting everyone off. You are setting a boundary with the creator of the story, refusing to give them the power to hurt you unexpectedly. The third point is about high-resolution focus. When the average person reads a book, they are focused on the plot. They want to know who did it. But the invisible observer, the person with your level of intelligence, is focused on the root cause truth. By removing the suspense, you are actually upgrading your intellect. You see the silent signals and the hidden intentions of the characters that everyone else misses because they're too busy wondering what happens next. You are like a director watching a movie for the second time. You see the lighting, the subtext, and the foreshadowing. This is a high IQ habit. You are valuing the quality of data over the novelty of the surprise. You realize that once you realize nobody cares about the spoilers, you win the ability to see the deep architecture of the narrative. You are the auditory profiler of the written word, picking up on the shift in a character's tone, because you already know where their journey ends. The fourth point deals with radical autonomy. Most media, whether it's a book, a movie, or a news cycle, is designed to manipulate your emotions through suspense and cliffhangers. They want to keep you engaged, which is just a polite word for addicted, by withholding the resolution. If you hate being told what to do, or if you feel a surge of irritation when someone tries to hook you, you have rare autonomy traits. By reading the last page first, you are performing an act of radical independence. You are taking the remote control of your emotions back from the author. You are deciding when and how you will experience the resolution. This makes you society's biggest threat because you are impossible to manipulate. You don't follow trends, and you certainly don't let a cliffhanger dictate your bedtime. You are the architect of your own emotional experience. You are a digital ghost in the world of storytelling, refusing to be tethered to the pace that someone else has set for you. The fifth point is the Polymath Advantage. People with too many interests often have brains that work through associative reconnaissance. You don't learn linearly. You learn by connecting dots across a massive, unique portfolio of knowledge. When you know the ending of a book, your brain can start associating the current page with the final result immediately. This is superior neural efficiency. You are building a predictive model in real time. This is why you might also be the person who always walks fast or who talks to themselves. Your body is trying to keep up with a brain that has already finished the current task and is moving on to the next one. You aren't spoiling the book. You are turning it into a case study. You are a polymath who views every story as a database of human behavior, and you need the key to that database, the ending, before you can start your analysis. Now, we come to the solution chapter. How do you take this safety-seeking habit and turn it into a high-status strategic advantage? The goal isn't to change who you are, but to master the mechanics of your mind. Audit your emotional bandwidth. Before you start a new book or project, ask yourself, do I have the energy for a surprise today? If the answer is no, read the last page. Give yourself the safety map. Don't apologize for it. Following the when you stop apologizing rule makes you unstoppable. Practice tiered spoilers. If you want to build defensive resilience, try reading the summary of the next chapter instead of the whole book. This allows you to practice controlled uncertainty in a low-stakes environment. Reframing the lurker mentality. Recognize that your need to know the end is the same as the invisible observer who reads every comment but never posts. You're gathering data to protect your quiet mind. Use that data. If you know the ending is a tragedy, use the middle of the book to study how the characters could have avoided it. Turn your spoiler into a root cause analysis. Set information boundaries. In your real life, apply this same logic. If someone says we need to talk, ask for the last page immediately. Say, is this about the project or our relationship? Don't let them keep you in the suspense of a cliffhanger. Your radical autonomy is your greatest strength. Use it to demand the safety map in all areas of your life. So the next time someone catches you flipping to the back of a book and gives you that judgmental look, I want you to smile. You aren't ruining anything. You are practicing elite emotional continuity. You are a sentinel protecting the sanctuary of your quiet mind. You possess the rarest kind of strength, the strength to admit that your emotional energy is too valuable to be spent on a journey without a map. You are society's biggest threat because you cannot be manipulated by suspense, you cannot be blindsided by the unknown, and you refuse to live your life according to someone else's script. You are the messaging archivalist of your own life, keeping the receipts of the past to ensure a better future. If this description felt like it was written just for you, if you're a last-page reader who finally feels understood, let me know in the comments. Do you find that knowing the ending actually makes you enjoy the book more? If you're tired of surface-level advice and want to keep decoding the hidden psychology of your unique traits, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Join our sanctuary here at MindUnlockx, where we find clarity in a noisy world. Thank you for watching and stay focused. Your map is your power.